for the ladies, ladies, ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies, ladies, ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. L-A-D-I-S, I-S, I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, I-S, I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. Speak what you want. Be great. Speak what you want. Be great. Speak what you want. Be great. And we're up first. Bonjour, unbossed. Bonjour, unbossed. Bonjour, unbossed. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies, ladies, ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies, ladies, ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chondra, Crystal with Nikki Unbossed, Edmee and Nikki. L-A-D-I-S, I-S, I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, I-S, I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first.
I'm like, chicka. Oh, that's my jam.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, where we honor the voice of the everyday woman. What's up, beautiful lady? Chondra, this light is banging, honey.
Yes.
Her hair,
Oh, the
everything.
flowers.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
I'm feeling good today.
You're looking good.
Lovely, yay.
Yeah.
What tell us why you feeling good today? Why you feeling lovely? Tell us.
Well, first of all, because I feel good, like actually feel good. So that's a plus. But
Yeah,
praise the Lord,
glowing.
everybody. How's everybody doing
Praise
today?
the Lord.
I was waiting for
Praise
that.
the Lord.
I feel really good. Last night I got to go to the reopening of Phantom of the Opera on Broadway.
Ooh.
And it was just a phenomenal night. You guys know my best friend is Derek Davis, and he is one of the three only Black men to play Phantom in the 35 years that Phantom has been on Broadway, on tours, in our presence. So he's one of three. So they treated him like royalty and all the things. And I was his plus one. So we
were
did.
royalty.
Yeah, it was just a good night. It was just a good night, full of joy and excitement. And it's just something about being around that community of people, and knowing that like Broadway is coming back, or theater in itself is coming back. And it's something about the Lion King opening back up and then the Phantom. Those are like the two longest running shows. And so for those two to be back up, like Phantom is the last show to reopen. And so it's kind of like the stamp of approval, like, okay, we're coming back to like some type of normal behavior type thing. So it was just I'm beaming from that. And then this morning, Callie D wanted to dress herself, and I was like, okay, live your life. And this little baby went through, she has a drawer of her shirts and a drawer of her pants, and she went through every item. I just let her take her time. That's why I was running a little behind this morning, but I let her take her time, and she went through every single item, and she held it up and she said, "Thank you, mommy. This is beautiful, but I don't want to wear that. Thank you, mommy. This is beautiful. No, thank you." And literally went through every single item and thanked me for it. And then if she put 3 to the side that she wanted to choose from, and then she looks crazy, but she chose her shirt and her pants or whatever. But it was just the simplicity of her literally taking her time, going through every item, thanking me for it, or praising it in some type of way. She was like, "Oh, this is so beautiful. Yes."
That is
Like,
she
who
just
are you?
that is a life lesson.
Yeah.
That is a
Girl,
life
this morning I
lesson.
was like, okay, thank you, God. And I always talk about gratitude. And I was just like, thank you for this reminder. Like the small things, to have a drawer of shirts that you can go through and choose to what to put on, And so it
Amen.
was just a little breath of fresh air this morning. And she dressed her little self and was so happy and just
But also the fact that you saw that as special instead of like rushing to do what you were doing and getting all the, past all of the things and not really seeing how special that was. That was wonderful.
yeah.
I'm also seeing it too, is that is that's also learned behavior. She sees her mommy saying thank you and I'm grateful and wow and being appreciative. And so she knows, wow, at that age to be like, wow, this is beautiful, mommy. I love
And I always have my phone there. My phone wasn't even near, so I just had to soak it in on myself, and take it, because I would have been trying to record her like doing it, and then she'd be like, "Girl, get out of here." But yeah, I'm just so this just reminded me, I'm so grateful for the things around me, grateful for the small things, the big things, and everything in between.
my love. Yes, babe. Speaking of grateful and thankful, Shell. LL Cool Shells. That background is looking different.
Welcome to my humble abode, or at least a little piece of it. I'm coming to you live from North Carolina.
Hey.
I am absolutely grateful as well this morning. I have been in my new state for a couple of weeks, but really only a week because I was in Puerto Rico last week. And it is just the absolute energy that I needed. I can feel and actually witness myself changing. I am shifting so much. I am way more I'm slower in everything I'm doing, the same way Shawnee was talking about, like just Callie taking her time with one thing after another, looking at her shirts and being grateful. I'm having a very similar experience where it's like there is no energy that I'm like linked into that's moving me at a pace, right? It's like the whole thing is all my energy. And so I am loving it. And I feel very aligned with today's topic because I feel like I'm in cruise control. Like I just set a little button and I'm just chilling. And it feels so good.
I just said, I was like, are you cruising? That's what I was like. Are you cruising?
I am cruising in everything. There's an ease. That's what I'm going to say. That's the best word. There is an ease that comes with being where I am, in my house, outside of my house, in my neighborhood, in the areas that I've already traveled to in this, part of the state. There's just an ease. And there's also a lot of chocolate fine men down here, by the way. That's just a side note, honey.
I love that. Yes. There's a bunch of chocolate men. The side note's important.
Yes, it is.
Hey, speak what you want.
A little Southern comfort.
Yes. Honey.
I love.
Ain't no wrong with a little chicken and biscuit, brother.
Honey.
I know a little something about chocolate.
Yes, you do.
It's good for you.
Deep chocolate. You like deep
like
chocolate.
It's good for you. It's good for you. It's good over here.
I love that. Yeah, it is good over there. Yes. Hey, Callie, you got your outfit on. I was gonna throw it to Edmee, but I'm gonna throw it to Crystal since we talking about chocolate and she chit-chatting about chocolate being good over there with her bamboo earrings.
I'm starting like this. Boom, 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 boom. We ain't paying nobody. I'm just
Yes.
Love it.
Where is she going?
Honey.
To 1986.
She's going to Fordham Road. Easy pickings, honey.
Why I still look cute in these though?
Yes, you do.
Come on, New York. Oh, can we do this first? If you are logged on right now, just tell us where you are logging in from. And if you're from New York, say where you coming in from. The Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens. If you're from, if you're from the boogie, if you wherever you are from, say that, because we need to know. I just feel like I miss y'all when I see her. It's so good to. It's always whenever we have a all right, Carrie from St. Louis. Yes. I'm despite how I sound and how cute these earrings are, I'm in a forced cruise control because I feel all over the freaking place right now. Like I got a whole lot of crazy, and but I think my word for today is intention. So I'm being very intentional about what I choose to feel and to be, and because it, what is also very real is the fact that sometimes it feels crazy, right? Like it's just like there's a whole lot to do, and the you feel like you're in the mix and you can't figure things out, and so that's kind of how I'm feeling, but I don't look it.
You damn sure, honey.
So what I'm going to do, and I have things to do after the show, but this is random, but let me just share this as an entree to our conversation. I was looking for something. I was looking for something that I couldn't find, and instead I found a fix, right? And in the fix was something that I had been looking for a long time ago. Which was, I was like, oh, maybe that's why I couldn't find the initial thing, because it served me well. And then I found a note that was written to me by an old coworker, right? And the note, it written in her hand, said to me, favor is coming. And she said, contend on your knees. And then she said, forgive and make room for the new. Purge old and make room for new, right? And I'm like, to find this in a space of feeling like there's so much going on. And so then I took a snapshot of it because it's been over 2 years. I sent it to her and I said, thank you for hearing God on my behalf. 2 years later, right? So what I decided to do in all of this stuff that I'm feeling today, after our show, I have a couple of things to do, but then I'm going to go upstairs and like I'm taking it like kind of literally and figuratively. I'm going to go and start to purge some things, because perhaps that is what this is about, right?
I love that. I love
right? That. So intentional and intention is my word for today. And then I'm going to try to, maybe in my intention of purging, I'm going to cruise a little bit with that. It's not hard purging. It's just like, that's a choice, right?
Yes. Carrie said that needs to be.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, 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 boom. Carrie said that needs to be framed, Chrissy.
I will. Yeah. Absolutely. I put it right here in my little office space. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Edmee, what's up, Edmee? Share do the Lexi. I have someone that knows Edmee. I was talking about the ladies first chit chat crew, and I was saying Edmee. He said, You know Edmee? I said, do I know Edmee Sheldon de Lexi? Yes, honey. I said, that's my boo. That's my girl. What's up, Edmee?
Girls, I need to be cruising today. I don't know if it's gonna happen. This week was like, let's put it this way. I am not the same as I was last week where I was all chill. Today and this week I've been battling allergy, taking Claritin like it's candy, if you know what I mean. Like last night I think I took two and I finally got 8 hours of sleep. And I was like, woke up at 8:30, wanted to wake up at 6 to try to hit the pool. Still made the pool, hands wet hair. And I got Anais in the room, Luca in there. I have a pregnant cat in my house. She's about to give kitties in any days. And then to make it even more this today, that's why I was like, I need to be cruising, meaning I need to totally let go and have somebody take care of everything for me. But that ain't happening today. On top of everything, I have my friend that asked my daughter to dog sit, which is great because she gets an opportunity and she has a responsibility. So I have a 14-year-old dog in my house.
The hell is going down?
I'm looking at that as you being in service. Hey, praise the Lord.
There we go.
And here's the thing. Somehow we're going to make it work. Somehow I'm going to find the time to clean this house, to do this laundry. And this afternoon, I'm teaching an aqua Zumba at the Aqua Cycle Studio. We're taking all the bikes off the pool. And so they decided, because I've been talking about it, and they were like, let's do something special for the members. Listen, ladies, they sent it out to all the members for the studio. So it's a special class to like thank them in the pool. And the owner sent me a message. She said, I sent the email at 8 o'clock. At 8:45, it was sold out with a waiting list.
Yes. Honey.
Wow. Yes.
Yes, queen.
Yes, queen.
So, in the middle of a pregnant cat, a 14-year-old dog, a 10-year-old that wants attention.
Look at that. Look at that.
17-year-old that always wants my credit cards. And then dishes piling up and laundry being done and an aqua Zumba class. We're going to find a way to have 1 hour of cruising. I don't know how, but we're going to do it.
Listen,
I did manage to escape 20 minutes in the pool this morning. I did it. I was like, there's no way on earth I am not swimming. Otherwise, I am going to go crazy and I'm going to pin my kids on the wall and they're going to be like, please take me down, Mom.
Can I say something though, Edmee? Right now, what's resonate with me, that is the voice of the everyday woman. And what I love, that is the voice of the everyday woman. But one thing that I love that we have been talking about since we started the show, you put yourself first this morning. Hey.
I went to my pool. You should have seen my beat up face. I looked like some crackhead that was about to go swimming. I didn't care. I had my PJs on. I went to the pool with my flip-flops. I got to the YMCA with my flip-flop, my sweater. I did have my black leather jacket on though.
Listen, you made it happen. You made it
And then
happen.
I had a bright yellow bathing suit. So it was like, you know what? I look beat up, but I'm bright in my sunshine bathing suit.
Amen.
What? And I did my 40 laps and I did in a better time. 20 minutes. 33 yard pool.
I got some work to do.
1,400 yards. I got it done.
Edmee swims like a fish, y'all. Edmee swims amazing.
Goals.
Yeah, I have my little thing. I have this waterproof music thing, and I have my swimming playlist on. It was right on, and I was just cruising through my songs.
I love it. Yes, Edmee. Speaking of voice of the everyday woman, what's up, Nikki Unbossed? Looking all beautiful over there. How you doing? I think Nick having a little technical difficulties today.
Yes, I am.
Looking gorgeous, though.
You're still cute, though. Still cute.
Oh well, thank you. I'm like sitting here taking it all in. Boy, y'all are a lot of great for all of you. I'm suffering. My focus is still and steady.
Still and steady.
Thank you very much. Wow, y'all have so much going through your head. so much that y'all feeling, and I'm just feeling like, can I just make it through? But I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm going to have to step up my game here. Y'all have been very inspiring and thoughtful as we're kicking off this show today. But I'm feeling good, besides feeling terribly physically. I had a day off yesterday, not that it was relaxing, but it was a time for me to like nurse whatever is going on with the sinus, because it's really out of control. It's like taking me, it's just really got me. It's really, really got me. I didn't realize it was sinus at first, so I guess I acted too slow. But I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling really good in regards to where I am right now. Nothing in particular happened this week that was too exciting. But it's always nice to be with you ladies on Saturday. Y'all have had a lot to share this morning, and it's been really, really inspiring.
Yay, Nick. Hey, Nick. I'm not home. I don't have I miss
Tell the people where you at. Tell the people where you at, what you do.
I miss my big ring light that I'm used to having. I'm looking sitting in front of me. I am in Costa Mesa, California. I am excited. I am singing tonight with Tony Award winner Kristen Chenoweth tonight in California, and I'm really excited. I'm filling in for me and Chandra's girlfriend, Crystal Monet Hall, who is an amazing vocalist. I mean, just absolutely wonderful vocalist. And I'm very honored that she and Marissa Rosen, who's the other singer, asked me, they recommended me and sent her a video of me when I was singing with Orphe and Andy, and they called me. And so I'm with them this weekend in Costa Mesa, with them next weekend in Indiana, and then the following week in Utah. So I'm gonna be on the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew in different hotel rooms. How come hotel rooms don't have nice lighting?
I don't know, child. I feel the same
You're
way.
glowing.
You gotta get the travel
I know.
light.
I'm gonna order it. I'm gonna order it. Y'all should see me. I have the lamp that's sitting on the desk is leaned over, so I can have some little light.
And you gotta lean in a little bit so you can see it.
I know, right?
I was about to say you got to sit under the light, but you do.
When I try to sit under it, shadow comes.
Well, I'll tell you look nice in bronze.
You look very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
That makes you feel good.
So I feel like I let go a little control. Y'all know I always do my class on Saturday mornings. And even when I would travel to California, I would get up and teach my class at 4 a.m. PST time. Well, last night I got in late and I made a decision. I was like, I'm tired. I was like, I'm gonna let it go. And I reached out to my people and they were amazing and supportive. And I told them to take one of the classes on demand. And Miss Elizabeth already took hers and then sent me her picture. Maya had already done a Peloton class. So they are keeping accountable and doing their thing. And, I just was like, let me just cruise this morning. But the fun thing about it is I still woke up at 5 o'clock.
Your body is conditioned, honey.
Because I'm on Eastern Standard Time. But I'm really excited. I have not met Kristen Chenoweth yet. I'm excited. I will meet her this afternoon. So yeah. So I'm here. Something new, something interesting. And
it's lovely.
Yeah.
Carrie was like, what?
Carrie.
Big deal. This is wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that it's been a crazy week, emotional week. I'm not necessarily ready to talk about publicly yet. I haven't even told you ladies yet. I'll share with you at the end of the show. So seeing you this morning is absolutely amazing. And some of the news that I got this week is a prime example of how important it is for us to find that balance of cruising and also feeling like we got to be in control all the time. I know I can speak for myself and also some of us and some of the ladies out there, sometimes you feel like you're in control and you're here and you're running there and you're running there and you feel like you got to do all this. But in the midst of it, you're feeling overwhelmed. And I'm going to say this when we talked on Thursday, Shelly said something that has been sitting with me that I had to repeat to myself this week. How are you going to enjoy the ride when you are always driving the bus? How are you going to enjoy the ride when you are always driving the bus? And to hear, Shelly, to hear you say that you feel like you're in cruise mode, and how last week you talked about how you realized you needed to shift some things within yourself to continue to feel and be the best that you are. This morning, Chondra, you're talking about Cali. I mean, Chondra, you look like you cruising, baby. I'm so happy you are feeling good and feeling better. But you talked about Cali, and I feel like there's a cruise. Edmee, just you talking about, you're going here, you're going there, but being centered this morning, putting yourself first to kick off, to start the cruise. Crystal, you finding that Post-it, Nikki, in a weird way, maybe you had to get a little sinus infection, so on Friday you could be in cruise control, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Why? My question is, why do we feel like, as women, specifically as Black women, we feel like we always got to be in control? Is it a learned behavior? Is it, I'm gonna put it out there, is it an ego thing? Do we feel like if we don't do it, it won't get done? And how is that affecting us every day?
It's all of the above.
D.
All of the above. I definitely feel that it's a learned behavior, but I think it's a given generational behavior because everybody, my mom held on control, her mother held on her, especially her grandmother, was very in control and never wanted to relinquish it and all that, and it's just passed down through generation after generation. And so everyone takes on their take of what they've learned or seen or whatever from their mother or grandmother or whomever the woman figure is in their life. But I definitely just feel like it is a learned behavior that, like, I feel like today was an example of me relinquishing control and Callie being and learning and seeing that it's okay to take your time to do something. You know what I mean? Like that. I'm a strong believer in I think 99.9999% of everything is a learned behavior. Like everything. You just take on your take of it. But it's learned. You learned it from somewhere. You saw it somewhere. Callie does things that I'm like, how do you even know that? And then weeks later, I see that on a program that she's watched or something. Everything is learned or you've seen done. So when it comes to control, a lot of people don't know how to relinquish it or chill or go into cruise control because it's something that you've never seen ever, especially with us. Especially with us. Like, have you ever seen your mom take? Let me tell you something. A friend of mine was like, not even a friend of mine, I'm talking about my own personal. My wife would not rest, like on her off days. She'd just be doing something. I'm just like, sit down. Like, what are you doing? And she just, because that was what her grandmother did, her mother did, she never felt like you can just chill and rest. She always felt like you had to be doing something. And so she also got offended by the phrase or me asking, hey, what'd you do today? Like if I wasn't around her on her day off, I'm asking like out of love and just care and concern, just, hey, how was your day? What'd you do today? And it kind of hit her like, oh, like I didn't, like if she didn't do anything per se, she would just get offended by it because she was known, like family, they just are always doing something, always on the move, always having to go, always having to do. And I'm just like, it's okay to rest, you know, and like say I did nothing. Shoot, I almost cussed. You know, I didn't do anything today, but it was just because that's a learned behavior, and she took that on strongly. Like, oh God, I feel like crap because I just sat down on the couch today for a few hours and didn't, and there were dishes in the sink. You know, I don't know. I just think that everything is a learned behavior, and control is something that you have to learn how to relinquish.
Shani,
I think
real quick before I get to Carrie's thing too, I want to say this. You talked about learned behavior, and I loved how you said 99.9%, and you talked about watching your mom. But it's so funny with us creating this space for us to see where we stand. And like I said earlier, Callie is learning from you guys. She's learning early that it's okay to her learned behavior that she's learning is different from the learned behavior that we've learned. And I want to applaud you for that, and to continue to keep
Thank you.
you know, that's huge. I think
But it's
that's
also purposeful. Like I'm doing that on purpose because I know there's behaviors and things that, like, I am Sandra Prophet, like 100%. I am my mother's child. You know what I'm saying? Like there's stuff that I do right now, and I'm like, ooh, Sandra, get out of here. You know, or you see something that you are of your mom or whatever, and it's like, okay, that's something that I want to be able to teach differently. But it's recognizing it. A lot of us don't even recognize that we're in a generational pattern, you know.
but some of those things are good things, and then some of those things, and I remember my mother saying this when I was growing up. Some of the things that her mother did, she was like, I don't want to impart that on you, right? Not because it was bad, but because she didn't like it. You know, some of those parenting things that were done, she's like, I didn't like when, she would tell me clean, and then you can go to, your friend's house, and then it would rain, and then she's like, you can't go. It's like, what's that got to do with anything? Like, just, there was fear-based things, or, maybe those people's, that friend's parents, smoke cigarettes, and she didn't want her to be around. My grandmother was very, like, very protective, as most parents are, but, there were certain things. So my mother really did allow me way more, rope with that kind of stuff. But I think, a lot of the controls that particularly women see, and I see it with, women that are also, not Black, so certain cultural norms around women is about work. And if you're not doing something, then it's also almost like connected to value. Like, how could you have dishes in the sink? It's like, you're not a good person. And truthfully, man, like, I would keep it a whole 100. Like, dishes in the sink don't really bother me. Like, you know what I mean?
Girl.
But they bother, like, my husband and I were having this conversation. Dishes in the sink bother him. So I have a very mindfulness around that. You know what I'm saying? We were having a conversation the other day. So it's like, it doesn't bother me, but because it bothers him, I'm mindful about that, because it's like, it don't take nothing from my life to wash the cup that I just used. You know what I'm saying? and it doesn't, I don't have any control about, like, oh, well, it don't make no, it does make a difference to him. So it's like, it take me 10 seconds to wash my thing and put it away. Like, it doesn't, but it's so it's less about, I think it's not an ego thing for me to wash my dish, but it does not bother me. And it's not connected to my I'm not a nasty person because I leave dishes in this thing. So I think there's cultural stuff around control that we need to really get real about and teach differently. But having a son who's growing up, I wonder what he's saying about all the busyness and what he feels is like, what he feels women should do. right? Like, and what his response will be to who he dates. Like, if she is a person that likes to get,
Mm-hmm.
if she requires a cleaning lady, like, will he feel that she's lazy or entitled? It's interesting to see what these things do to our children and their partners, because I think it goes in a place that we don't pay attention to.
I agree. What were we gonna say, Edmee?
Edmee?
Um, a lot of things come to my mind when we talk about control. I think about my kids. I think about the way I was raised. I think about my personal experience and some of the mistakes and why, and definitely relate to the way that we were raised, where we were raised, the people we were raised around, make us do and act a certain way. But I want to go back a little bit to just being a woman. Doesn't matter white, black, Asian, yellow, purple, whatever it is, just a woman. And the women revolution and how we fought for our own rights and how we fought for, the feminine movements that happened. And I almost wish, and I'm glad that as women we have a voice, but I almost feel that that voice kind of made us have to have control. And I don't know if it's coming out the right way, but I almost want to say, and I miss that sometime. I miss having someone, a partner that I could let control and almost be submissive in a way that we don't have to always have control when it comes to a partner or a relationship to still be a strong woman. And it's almost like this movement made us have, I don't want to say made us have to have control, but that's not what I'm trying to say. But made us feel like if we don't have control, we're not as great of a woman, if it makes any sense.
Yeah. Look, listen.
Evie, it's almost like that movement of feminism is like, we have to do this, we have to do that. No, we don't.
Yeah.
We can release that control to the right partner that we do respect, that we do want to have on our life. Like, I would love to, like, I remember, like, my dad never opened the menu in a restaurant. My mom would choose what he eats. That, I almost wish to that extent that I have someone that knows me so well that I can trust, that will not close those a step over the boundaries of what I like, what I need, what I, those things. And it's almost like we have that respect that doesn't need to have that always fight of who is in control. And it's almost like,
so she knew him so well that she knew what he wanted. Is that what you're saying?
But let me say this. The only reason she knew that is because there was a lack of control between them. Because when you're in such control of your life and yourself, people can't get to know who you are.
Right. And that's safety.
Right.
That's safety. When you feel safe with people, a person, you're able to, quote unquote, let your guard. We have so many guards, like we are just built with so many walls and guards around us that we don't allow it to come down. So once you find that one person, it's like stuff just starts falling off. It's like weights fall off you and you feel a safety net. And that's in work, that's in personal relationship, that's in friendships, and that's in every aspect of your life.
Yeah. And listen, Evie said this. Say it again, Nikki.
I said, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know, this example specifically, but it could also be playing a role too, right? I mean, there are people who believe that that's a woman's role, right? To be able to know what your husband needs and to take care of them. So it could be that. The beauty of it would be to believe, right? It's because you're releasing control. But what becomes even more beautiful, right, is if it's reciprocal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's not always reciprocal.
I mean,
I do a
yeah.
lot of things that my husband would want or need, but I don't, necessarily and say that he could do necessarily the same for me, right? So in some cases, it's role, right? I'll offer another perspective around control. Sometimes people don't realize that they act in a way that is controlling. Sometimes people end up in positions that they are perceived as being controlling, but it's just the way they've been raised or the way they've gone about life because it has to get done, right? So, my parents died, we all know, when I was very young. My sister raised me. For a number of reasons, she raised me in a way that it was like, Nikki, you need to be able to take care of yourself, like no matter what. And when that became very obvious was when I chose to get engaged. But even prior to that happening, I remember I was in college. I mean, my parents died when I was 10. So there's probably some things, if I really thought about it, I could probably give you some examples there too, where I just stepped up. More so probably out of the fact that I had lost my parents, right? And I was just resistant. And in some ways probably wanted to be like, I could, I'm grown, I could remember saying, listen to me, I have a perspective, right? But I remember when I went to college, it was right after I pledged and everything like that. I'm not gonna go into details, but, I screwed up, and I had student loans and I remember I couldn't get them. And I had went back to school and my sister, my brother-in-law were in Hawaii. And I called and I was like, I can't register for school. She was like, why? And I had screwed up, with my GPA. And they said, you're just spinning your wheels. You're going to come home and figure it out, right? Like, you're not going to school to do that. I got off that phone and what did I do? I wasn't coming back home. So I had to figure it out. I got me some loans and whatever, had me a nice old apartment, paid for my education. And then from there, I obviously worked very, very hard to make sure I got my GPA back up. I took independent credits and, I was nothing less than an A, right? Like I was negotiating, I was in it. Like I'm going to prove you wrong, right? So that's me. So then I graduate and then I get engaged. And I remember my sister, I just finished getting my master's. And I hope she's not offended by any of these stories. I'm definitely leaving out some parts for her. But I remember I was getting engaged. And when I came home, my sister really thought it was our time, And I was getting engaged and, she was supportive of it. And I chose to do it, but there was no coming back, right? My sister took my bedroom set and everything and took it up to the top of the hill and had them come and get it. And it was garbage. And she said to me, you got to take care of yourself no matter what. You got to make sure you're not depending on anybody and you have to you have to be able to take care of yourself. And from that point, I had a job, right? And I had started early on, as you can see in college, proving to people that I will never, I'm not going to fail. And so I bring all that up because it wasn't necessarily learned from a person, but it was learned through experience. And you become to appear as though you're controlling because you're making things happen. And as a result of that, that's carried on, right? Throughout my life and everything I do. So although I may look like the person who's just trying to manage it all, it just comes so natural just to do it because I got to make it happen and there's no option to fail and there's no going back. So I just wanted to offer that perspective because, I know when people interact with me, especially when we're talking very serious, I could come off very, very matter of fact, and I am. But when it comes down to getting something done and being successful, and there's a very focused perspective that comes from a very young age of understanding that that's just what I have to do, And so I wanted to share that with you.
I think it's interesting because it lines up a lot with what Evie, I think I'm saying this right. I don't know if you see what she said, but she was saying like being assertive and a leader in your career spills over into your life and your norm becomes an expectation. She said, I like controlling my narrative, but I had to learn to relax because I was tired all the time.
Well, that's an interesting too, Evie. You know, for the longest time, and I've talked about this in a previous show, I felt that that was the one thing you could control, right? Your narrative, right? No one's going to take that away from me. I'm going to spell it out for you. I'm going to show you in my actions. And the truth is, I learned later in age, you know, in recent years, they can take that away from you, right? So, you know, but I'm right there with you. And that's why you do have to relax, because it is going to be what it is, right? But that doesn't define you. You know,
that just reminded me of Autumn just a couple of days ago, talking about a friend of mine was saying how when you're a parent, the mother or the person who birthed the child or nurtures the child is normally more protective per se over the child, or controlling over the child. And Autumn was saying like she thinks I didn't give, like I don't trust her for a while. Didn't trust her for a while, like with Callie by herself. And I was like, nah, I didn't. It's like, you're right, I didn't. It's like, but it was a thing. I had to think about it, because I'm like, you know, sometimes when we're all here, you know, Callie could be doing something like about hanging off the chandelier, and Autumn would be kind of like do. And I was like, my friend was like, yeah, that makes me feel like when I'm not here, that's what you do. You just do. And she was like, no, I do that because you're so controlling over the situations. You'd be like, oh, no, I'll get it. I got it. I got it. You know, do what you do. And you just kind of like not allow people to help you help the situation, and you always have to feel like you're in control navigating the situations. And I was just thinking about it, I was like, damn, I know I do that. I know I have done that for a long time, especially when it comes to my daughter. I'm like, can't nobody do it better than me. Even if you the other parent, can't nobody do it better than me. But it's something I had to really work on and release, because I'm like, there's no way that you know, I don't feel that you would ever harm our child. I don't feel that you are not equipped to do everything that I can do for her. But it's just something I had to really release and like let go of, because I literally, even in the house, just cutting up dinner, cutting up something, I'll cut it up. I know the way that she likes it. I know. And she's like, you don't think I know the way that you really don't think I know the way my child wants this done as well? And I'm like, maybe.
Do you ever think this is something that I started to think about? Is it I loved, you know, we talked about learning it from our parents. We talked about, Nikki talked about learning it through experiences. I was in a conversation with a friend right after we talked the other day, and she said to me that hers was ego. She said she had to learn how to release her ego to be able to be in cruise control. She felt like it was, for her to be in control, it was a badge of honor for her. And in reality, it ended up making her feel like she was about to have a nervous breakdown. And then she realized, wow, if I let this go.
I agree. I think it's a lot of that. And I think you learn a lot when you listen and really kind of step back. I think you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn a lot about other people when you just and I think Callie will learn a lot about being able to swing on something sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh my
You know, it's
God.
interesting.
I think it's good for them. I think it's a sometimes things being a mess. Like I was saying to, this is not related. Well, maybe it is, but I was saying to my mom who was visiting recently. So we had visitors that came on that I didn't that came over that I wasn't I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare for, and the downstairs was together, but my upstairs really wasn't, and I was okay with that. I was like, my house looks like we live here, right? My house looks like we live here. It doesn't look like a department store. And I like that. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, my bedroom, y'all came over. My bedroom was like, it looks like we live here. Like, yeah.
Because you do.
You know, but you know, I would like for it to be a little better, but it's like I got a lot of stuff going on right now.
Nah, I'm definitely that meme that is going around talking about my wife just cleaned the house and lit the candle and took the trash out and now don't want me to put trash in the trash can and don't want me to. That is me wondering.
But Shawnee,
talking about you better not sit down.
and in a way though, I love that about you. I feel like that's your ministry. I feel like that's my question is, does that come at ease for you? Does it feel like control? Is that just, is it at ease for you? Yeah.
So it does come at ease for me, but I know it stresses my family out.
Exactly.
To the T. Because my wife always says the opposite of what you just said, Chrissy. She's like, our house always looks like we don't live here.
Right.
Like we don't come here because you guys, I have OCD like crazy. They all know. Like they came over the other day and I was like, don't touch that glass. This glass.
Yes.
Don't think that. Don't. But I think that's just because that's also a learn from me. That's why I said I feel like everything is 99% learned because for me, I know everything is learned.
Yeah.
Thank you, sweetie.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying? Like my mom was that way.
Yeah.
Like 100% still to this day. You can walk in her house and it looks like she never it's what's some houses that you know they dress up so that you can come see it.
Model home.
A model home. That's what my mother's house looks like right now to this day. You can pop up on her at any time and her house looks like no one's there.
Yeah.
And that's how I keep my house. I keep my house very clean, very pristine. So this time that I've been like sick or, you know, on the morning sickness and stuff, y'all, it's been crazy. And my wife has just been like, whew.
Yeah.
She's like, let me show you what I do.
And she's clean. She's
probably
super
feeling
clean.
so
She's
free.
clean. And she's so free.
Exactly.
And I've had that. I know that's another part of this experience. It's like me really, really letting go and release.
Yes.
Because again, she works. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, she does everything. And so she would leave stuff the way it is, just how it accumulated during the week. And then on her off days, it will be spotless.
Right.
You know, and I had to thank her. I'm gonna thank her again today. I had to thank her and appreciate her for that because I need to be able to release that because I am very rigid when it comes to like cleaning, like putting your stuff away and like, you know.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
You know what? So I wanted to say something about ego, and someone said something about somebody's got to do it. Mm-hmm. And so I do think there's a big ego piece. You know, when me and my husband were split up, and we were sharing the kids, which I was happy for him to have them 95% of the time, which I think he thought was like, we breaking up, I'm keeping these kids. And I was like, go ahead. And go ahead. But one of the things that I remember used to drive Murdy crazy was like, I wouldn't give any instructions when he would take the kids. I wouldn't ask any questions. I wasn't calling while they were with him. And when they came home, I wasn't taking inventory of like, what happened? Would you do? Would you not do? What time you went to bed? Would you eat? I didn't ask them anything. I just let them be with their father because I knew that he loved them as much as I did. He did things 100% different than me. 100%. almost everything he did. Like, I remember he took them to see The Hangover and they were like 6. Okay. Not a choice I would make, and my mama was like, what? And I was like, and my oldest son said at the time, who I think was like 7, he was like, Mom, we saw The Hangover. It was totally inappropriate, but it was funny, right? So literally, that's what he said to me when he came through the door. Now, Murdy is like steam, and I'm like, okay, no biggie. But for me, it's important. Ego can literally control every aspect of your life. And if I had focused on, like, let me give him this list of instructions of what to do when he has them, and let me check in and make sure that what they're doing is appropriate. And let me see if they're in bed because it's 9 o'clock, or I wouldn't have been on cruise in my own life when I didn't have them. Like, I would have still, you know what I'm saying? I might as well have had them with me. So I don't know why. We'll think about it and get back to you. I didn't have any ego around that. I just knew they would come back alive. And whatever happened while they were with him was something we could learn or talk about or whatever. But the other piece is one of us said something about, part of it is like someone has to do it. I like to let the universe do it, right? It doesn't have to be me. And yes, there are many things that have to happen in our lives, many things that have to happen, right? You got to pay the bill. You probably should wash your ass. Like, there's some shit that has to happen. But the universe is really navigating and driving the bus for real. And so sometimes when there's something you just are too burdened with and you don't want to do it, just don't. And let the universe show you a different way to get you to where you're going. Because whatever you're focused on accomplishing, you're going to, because you're focused on it. But it doesn't mean that you have to write the directions and put the gas in the car and drive the bus and make sure that everybody's buckled in and put the map in front of you and put on glasses. You don't got to do none of that. You just got to know where you're trying to go. And if you don't want to, because Shawnee enjoys cleaning up and making things a certain way. I hate it. So if I don't want to, I just, sometimes you got to give in and say, okay, I'm just not gonna, and I'm gonna try to be comfortable with, like, I feel like maybe this won't get done. And just let the universe show you that you can be on cruise and accomplish what you need and want and enjoy the scene as you roll through your life. Like, you're not seeing what's around you. And the universe has the biggest, best, baddest plan.
That's
literally.
So good. That's so amazing.
I feel like that, since we've started the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew and really, putting it out there to the universe and relinquish to the universe, God, I find myself being in more of cruise than control. I mean, you guys know, I was so much in control that people thought that I wanted to be in control because that's what I do. And I'm like, I've told y'all, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. However, I've been so used to, because Miss Pat, she run the show, honey. And so that's what I saw so much that, I tell you guys, I come from this family of powerful women. You guys, side note, Edmee's back. She had to take care of something for work. She is back. People been asking for you, Edmee. She's back. So, with these women, and I saw women run the show, even though, I love my stepfather. He's amazing. I told you guys, Sydney would die if you heard me say that. He's like the cute accessory that was with us all the time. But I saw my grandmother, my aunt, and my mom run the show. I learned how to change a tire when I was a little. I know how to do everything. That when I started dating my man, I remember I was on tour with Dreamgirls and I was coming off tour, and Billy wanted to pick me up from the airport. And my mom said, well, good. I was like, no, I told him I'll be fine. I can get home myself. My mom said, let him pick you up. But I had gotten so used to doing things on my own. And that I even was so much in control and not allow him to do for me. And like I shared with you guys, it's like I kind of realized Billy was the one when we were dating, when I was in the car with him. And usually I was so in control, I wouldn't fall asleep when I was in the passenger side, because number one, I wanted people to have conversation, but really it was, I need to know what is going on. I need to see what's up. And I remember the day I fell asleep and I woke up and everything was fine. And I woke up and, like you said, we were going to Virginia and I got to see all the trees and I had never noticed the trees. And in my head, I was like, oh, this is why we don't have service when we get here. You know what I'm saying? So, I noticed those kind of things. And it was when I realized, yes, I'm an alpha female, but sometimes I want to be the damn beta. Okay. Sometimes I want to be the damn beta, and it is okay. And I'm learning now I can still be an alpha female and have people support, not be in control all the time, especially things that aren't my ministry, and ask for help. And just life is navigating better. I'm feeling better. I'm getting more done. So I have learned, thanks to you guys, thanks to you ladies and our viewers, that it's okay to cruise. And by cruising, it does not mean you can't do anything. And I remember I got so excited in my relationship. I had this wonderful man that's allowing me to be the beta. And then you brought something up Thursday, Shelly, that got me when Billy had his accident. It shifted. And I have to be totally honest with you. I think that's where some of, I've been very vocal about how we, during quarantine, I feel like it really saved me and Billy's relationship because we got to have conversation. But I think I got mad. Then all of a sudden I can't be the damn beta.
Right.
I gotta go back to washing the dishes. I gotta go back to running the show. And then I started to realize, as he started to get stronger and swimming in the damn Hudson River, I was like, oh no, I'm coming back to being the beta. You gonna wash the dishes, something like that. But I think some of my resentment was finally I was and then I felt like I had to be in control again. And being in control again, I got used to it.
But let me say this real quick before I forget. That is a lot of the reason why women specifically have a hard time relinquishing control, because they feel like once they do it, something's going to happen that, is going to make them have to pick up the pieces and come back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's the fear.
What if the rug gets pulled out?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been listening to all of you, and I want to speak to those, those women that, you're not in control by choice, right? You feel like you're in control because this is the way this is the way I have to do it. And the truth is you don't have to. The truth is you do it because that's how you know that, you're going to do the things that are required, right? But what happens is it's fear of things falling apart. It's fear of things not getting done. It's fear of maybe, if we're talking about work, that, something's going to go wrong and you're going to be blamed for it. There's fear, and for some people, maybe looking weak or needy, and the truth is when things do fall apart, right, and you let them go, and you don't have to do it all at once in your life, right? You can take steps and do it in different parts of the different things that are happening in your life. The story changes, right? And sometimes, even though you didn't see it, the story starts to change in a way that's better for you when you do let it go. But I want to speak to those that, it's hard, to let it go. And you might not be that woman that feels like I'm a control freak, right? I know I'm a control freak. You do it because you feel like you have to, right? Or you feel like it's just the way you have to do things. I'm one of those types of women. So at the end of the day, it's like when I noticed that I'd let something go and I'd watch what would happen. And I've done that a lot, whether it's applying for a job, whether it's, whatever it is I want to do. I realized that wasn't the path that was meant for me to take. right? But maybe the experience, right, was part of the process to prepare me for what was next.
Nikki,
Uh,
I'm speechless. I'm
yes,
really speechless. I'm speechless. Okay. I'm going on mute to cry. Thank
yeah,
you. Please
I
and
got a
thank
ping
you.
too. That was me. I got a ping. You know me and Crystal always got the pings. I got a ping too.
I mean, just real
You
quick,
know,
my point of making these comments, and that's what this show's about, right? Speaking our truth, right? And sharing how we're living day to day and the things and how we're handling these things. And the truth is, it's just not easy all the time to make that choice to say, you know what, today I'm not doing that. You know, there may be things that are attached to the decisions that you're getting ready to make that you're like, I don't have the energy to do that. You know, like it has a rippling effect. But the truth is, when we do stop and when we can put ourselves in a position to stop and say, I'm just going to let it go, there's something that's going to happen regardless, even if it's nothing. And maybe that nothing was supposed to happen so that you could see that nothing was going to happen, right? Right? Or if whatever happens, there's something that does happen, maybe it gives you an option of something else to do or a different perspective, a different way of looking at things, of how you can handle it that'll be better for you so that you can manage that feeling of having to have to do. But this is a process, right? I go through this all the time. It's a process, you know? And so what I want all of us to realize is, don't walk away from our conversation today, right? Thinking, I gotta just let it go, right? I'm too in control and somebody else is gonna pick it up. Well, the truth is there's some shit nobody's gonna pick up, right?
What?
We have to be okay with the fact that if the story's gonna change, it may be for the better for us, or it may give us further insight into what we need to do to manage whatever it is, different or better.
I love that, Nick. And I think this is, as we close, you said something very poignant and great. So what do we need to do to find that balance between cruising and control? You know, is this a part 2 conversation? Because Carrie, I want to let you know, I saw your question and I love it. And I feel like it's something that we need to discuss as well. But where do we find the balance? Like Nikki said, it's some shit. It is what it is. But where do we find that balance? You know, Shelley talked about, the putting it out to the universe. Where do we find that balance? What's a universal theme that all of us, something that we can begin to take with us today? What is that?
For me, I'll just jump in. For me, it's been little steps in everything I'm doing. I let go, right? And I tell myself, I physically, verbally tell myself, what thing happening, it wasn't meant to be, right? And there's something else coming. So for me, it's little steps.
For me, I would say for all of us is maybe just start by examining for yourself how much you trust, right? Because I think that for me, in my own life and what I've seen in my own family, and it's certainly in my career, in the work that I've done, is the struggle to let go of control and put yourself in a position where you can cruise and enjoy is directly connected to your capacity to trust. Trust in your own ability, trust that everything will work out, trust that something bigger than you has a handle on what needs to happen for you, trust someone else in your life. So my suggestion would be just start thinking to yourself, how much do I trust? How much do I trust myself? How much do I trust those around me? How much do I trust that things I want will work out? Like, just figure out, like, I'm not, maybe you'll figure out I'm not very trusting, right? And that's a beginning place. If you understand that about yourself, then you might be able to do these things Nikki's saying, like these little steps, right? I might be able to try trusting something small that isn't really a major thing for me, so I could just get in the practice of trusting more, because that to me is the beginning of finding your way from being totally locked up under control and being controlling to enjoying life and seeing the trees, you know, and the flowers. And so I would say trust, working on understanding where your level of trust is.
Just to support that, the places that I've made consciously, because I'm consciously doing this, I had pressure, right? It's in those places. You're okay with it. If you think of the worst outcome to happen, I'm okay because I'm good. And so that, to piggyback off of what you're saying, that's exactly where I started to do that. And now it's starting to branch into other things. So you're right. I agree.
For me, I have when this whole conversation of control, it felt like a lot of control feels like there's a lot of doing, right? And letting go feels like stillness to me. And what I feel like I am lacking, and what I would offer to those who are here listening and all of us, is stillness. Because I cannot hear my own heart when I'm so busy putting things away, doing things, finding things, looking for things, fixing things. I cannot be anything to myself without stillness. Then I can hear from God.
Well, shit, I almost got again. I'm taking it all in. Y'all know this topic is directed for me, control, because I am a very controlling person and I take full responsibility for that. But I do know that since having my daughter, like, it's been a different, you know, there's been situations and stuff that I just cannot control, and I've had to really be okay with that and feel what that feels like. And it feels good to allow people to help. It feels good to allow somebody else to do something, you know, something that you would. When I first had Callie, I had a C-section and I was out of whack. Like, I just mentally, physically, I just wasn't prepared to have a C-section, and it took me all the way down. I was out of commission for 3 weeks completely, and not walking, not nothing. I was just like devastated that I had to have a C-section. So it just really just crippled me. And to see, I'm getting emotional about it, but to see the stillness of me sitting and being in my, like, doubt, hate, whatever I was going through at that moment, but to see, like, the people around me come, friends come, didn't say nothing to me. They just came in, cleaned the house, brought food, did whatever, didn't even talk to me per se, but just took care of my environment, brought my environment back to who I am and who I, you know, to help me come back to myself. And I think that is, for me, how I start to relinquish control, is that God and the universe and my ancestors and everyone has put people around me who know me and understand me and allow me to be able to take a breath, you know, and so sitting back and actually exhaling for me is a form of relinquishing control. And that's something that is a daily practice, you know, but having the support around me really helps me to be able to relax and chill out.
I love. Edmee, you got anything you want to add as we wrap up?
Oh, Lord, that conversation has so many layers. That's all I could say. I keep on thinking of my bad daughter that says to me over and over, we are not in control. Only God is in control. And that's what she says over and over. And she probably right. Like Lachelle says, let it go to the universe. Crystal said, stillness brings her closer to God. Miss Nikki Unbossed, you said way too much. You put layers and layers and layers and layers. This is what I'm gonna leave you guys with. I think we are all bosses in our own way because we know when we can give away the control, and when time comes, we know that we trust in ourselves to be able to get it back. I think that even if sometime, like Nikki Unbossed said, nobody's gonna pick up the shit and the shit falls down, we trust ourselves enough that we are going to be resilient and get up and get it done. I think that the matter of control is about first knowing ourselves and then eventually surrounding ourselves with the people like Nikki. You have Billy that you can let go of the control with him. So it's two things: is knowing yourself, knowing the people that you have around, and knowing that God is gonna do what God got to do. And we just gotta cruise through life, and it's that balance between when you gotta hold the, you gotta hold the will, and when you can let go of the will. And it goes with learning behaviors, past behaviors, all of it put together. But eventually, we're all working toward a life where we have that perfect balance, where we know shit not to get done, and we gotta get it done, and we know sometimes we're like, fuck that shit. We can let go. And if it's not going the way you want to go, then be a boss again and take over control. And it's life.
This has been
Nikki. I'm willing to share this. Just one visual I want to leave everyone with. Times in my life, not Brian and drop to the ground. And there's one visual that I remember last time that ever really, really happened to me. I sat there down. My daughter was in another room getting, study lessons. And when she was out, I got up and I said, it's going to be okay. And I'm going to fix it, but I'm going to take care of it. We're going to be all right. So check you, because the ball does.
Nikki,
you find yourself in that moment.
Nikki, we know you dropping this bottom line knowledge right now. We can't hear you. And everybody wants to hear you. Everybody's like, we're all like this. What's she gonna leave us with?
Can you not hear me? Can you hear me? No.
Now we can.
I'll share it next time. I don't know how much of it you heard, but I want people to know. I'm sharing a visual. There have been times in my life where I myself have hit the wall, fell down to the ground in tears, had my daughter in another room doing something else. And I let it all out. And then I wiped the tears away. And I'm like, girl, you got this. And you're going to be all right. And I got myself up and I went into mode. And the reason why I share that is because when the bottom does fall, and when everybody else thinks you probably should have fell apart, and how are you operating and doing what you do, I want you to have that visual, because the truth is you can get back up and you can do what you need to do, and you can be okay. That's it.
That's 100% true.
And that being a boss.
I think we've all hit a considered rock bottom situation that has, you know, you've had that moment, and then what happens? You dust yourself off, or, you know, someone helps you dust yourself off, or whatever the case may be, and you keep it pushing. But the case is that it didn't break you. And that's what we come back to, is that there's going to be moments and things that we can't control, or stuff that we come to that might feel like it is going to break us down to the bone, and it just might bring you to your knees, per se. But right. The point is, you've gotten up. We've all gotten up. We've all had those moments where we have been stressed. When I moved here by myself, alone, nobody, in a big city like New York, alone. Child, I've had many a days where I was like, what in the heck am I doing? And just bawling, crying. But then, you know, you just have that moment, because those moments are important. And we, especially as Black women or women of color, don't get time to have the down moment. We don't get credit for that. It's always, you know, what people see in front of you. Oh, she's so strong. Shell's most hated word. She's so strong. She's so this. And I'm like, sometimes I'm not. And that's okay too. And I need those moments to remind myself that I'm human. I'm human. And it ain't always peaches and cream, or my favorite, strawberries and whipped cream. You know. So I love y'all. This is a great conversation. I'm sure we can go on and on.
We sure can. This has been incredible. And you know what? It makes me think about something that I want to discuss with you guys on Thursday. And us moving forward, when we say we want to get interactive with our audience. You know, maybe it is something we have a part 2 during the week on the IG or something like that. And Carrie says she could listen to us for hours. Oh, thank you, Carrie. But it is something, and I'm going to put out to everyone, we are still looking for support. Oh, I just look like Miss Pat just now. We're still looking for support, looking for more so, I kept saying producer, looking for someone who's tech savvy that can support us. Also, we're putting out there, we have some people that are interested, looking for some social media people, because what we talk about every Saturday, I truly believe, we all believe, we talked about this on Thursday, needs to get out to the masses. And we need support. And like Nikki Kearney had said, we're showing up for ourselves. And then Shelly says, tell a sister, and then tell another sister, and then have her grab a sister and tell another sister. So we are looking for support to support us in getting the word out there on a larger scale. And yeah, we're going to keep it going. Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Chrissy, Shani, Edmee, Shelly Shell, Nikki Unbossed. This has been an incredible morning. Thank you, viewers. We love you. Have an amazing Saturday. And stay tuned. Grab a sister, grab a sister, grab a sister. Okay?
Mwah.
Bye, y'all.
Who's first? Lady. Who's first? Lady. Who's first? Lady. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. Ladies. It's the Lady First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the Lady First Chit-Chat crew. What you want. Be great. Speak what you want. Be Be great. Speak what you want. Be great. And we're up first. Bonjour, unbossed. Bonjour, unbossed. Bonjour, unbossed. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chondra, Crystal with Nikki, Unbossed, Edmee, and Nikki. L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first.